Whole heart. You know, we're a kindred spirit somehow. And for years, I've always wanted to share the feelings that I've had with you, with another person. And it was only until recently that this man decided to go with me. I want to introduce perhaps the greatest voice actor in the history of animation. I call him the King.
That is.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, His Royal Highness the and Majestic and all those other words that we mix. The King himself, Frank Welker. So I pumped a few extra pounds of air in the tires.
Oh, wow. Before we begin, if I may, first of all, I want to say thank you all for making me feel so welcome. You all have been fantastic. Each and every one said thank you for coming. I appreciate that so much. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Chris Kidd, who invited me this year. And of course, if it wasn't for the real king, Peter Cullen, who we say in the business, in show business, we have a saying, generous actor. And what that means is not somebody who gives out things other than like money or fruit. What Peter gives out is pure love, and what he does for his fellow actors is called being generous. Whether it's a script, new actors, he makes sure they get the best lines, and this is all true. When things are going, he makes sure that somebody gets a chance to audition. And when he talks about me, he always says something very, very nice. And I love him dearly, my arch nemesis and very good friend, Peter Cullen.
When you first said it, do you mind? Like, I'm going to argue with Megatron. Yeah, do what you want to do, man. You're not here to see me.
Well, I appreciate that, my friend. After all, I am Megatron, leader of the Decepticons. What do you call Decepticons?
Hail Megatron! Sides already.
Yes,
Yes,
Wait one moment.
Well. Look who's woken up.
One shall stand, one shall fall. That's right.
Why you spend your time on such pathetic rubbish?
Megatron, what happened to you, my brother? Why did you go astray? Why?
You won't know until the 15th new episode.
And there's some truth to it.
A lot of times we have no idea when we get those scripts, right?
Never have an idea. Never. I think it's an impossible thing to track because you never know where the brilliant minds who write these scripts are going to take you. And it's always an adventure for me and for Frank, or for anyone for that matter, to find out what's going to go after the next episode. Because how far can you take something? And they're brilliant writers, as we all agree.
Yeah. And they'll bring in a lot of new talent, and then they, you know, kind of mine them for new creative ideas, see where they can go, but still keeping the basis of the franchise as it is, but still looking for new things. So when you read a script, and we go and read a script and go, oh, wow, hey, that's cool. This is good. Oh yeah, keep it going.
Michael Bay comes in.
Keep it classy.
Open that wound.
What about the original movie?
The original one?
The original movie. Page 17, you mentioned something about that, reading the script for the original movie.
They're asking about the original animated film.
The original animated film, you and I were together.
Yes.
I think it was page 17.
Yes. I remember it well too.
And I find that I'm getting axed.
Saddest
Smacked.
day of our lives.
Rubbed out. Literally cut from the pages. And
Neither of us could believe it.
I said, I can't believe it, Frank. This is amazing. Where are they going to go from here, you know? And you know, actors basically, you know, there is a sensitivity that is measured by your ability to perform and how well you perform, or for that matter, how poorly you perform. In that case, I was thinking, you know, I must really suck this off. It's kind of like being in a soap opera, you know, and if you're a challenging, contentious person, and that gets on the nerves of other actors, producers, writers, directors, they'll get rid of you. Quite easily done in a soap opera.
What happened to Martha last week? She came down with a horrible cold. Is this the beginning of pneumonia to suppose? Mm-hmm. So we can expect perhaps going to a funeral in 2 weeks. Poor Ethel. Well, there's more lines for me.
But it was a shock, and I don't remember exactly what the whole reasons were, but as what happens sometimes in the world, good things happen, and obviously the correct thing happened, and Optimus Prime came back.
I think it was for 3 shows, Frank. I never knew. You know, on to the next gig. You know, and while you were busy doing Transformers, I was doing, I don't know.
Many shows. Many shows.
Yeah.
Have either of you ever IMDb'd yourself? I mean, really? Your credits go on forever.
Busiest guy in the business, right there.
I only Google Frank. And I do that so I can humiliate myself. Just, I like to look at Frank and say, see what you have to accomplish before you can become a master. Because he is the king.
Oh, Peter.
Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night?
Let's go on, shall we? Like the missing steak, which I don't know what that's all about, so. Either do I. It's one of you started that.
There was no comment at BotCon. You just opted not to comment about it. You commented about the parking spot.
But where did that come from? What was the steak all about? I mean,
Peter told a story about the steak at 2012 BotCon.
Oh.
involved, and Frank is thrown into the bus.
So
And
you two would go to dinner after Transformers. Frank would go to the bathroom, and you would like get rid of his steak or something.
apparently you're stealing food off of Frank's plate.
This sounds realistic, but
But sometimes Frank, like you had this running gag, like he would do it and then Frank would do it, and that's.
I told that story in confidence. Knowing that Frank would never come to a convention where snitch on him. Okay.
I'm finding out a lot of information. Thank you.
See what you've been missing out on so long, Frank?
It's all make-believe.
Yes.
I'll talk to you later, woman.
So you had a question for us?
Well, actually, I had a lot of questions, in fact.
Oh.
We pulled some of our Transformers enthusiasts. We got a few questions from them. One of them was, many voice actors realize they have a talent for creating voices. When and how did you find your talent?
Actually, as far back as I can remember, which is 2.5 weeks ago. Very sad. I should get older. No, actually, when I was little, I can remember being able to mimic sounds of things I heard, like crickets and birds. Yes, I heard that. A little girl went, she said, David Kay has already done that. That's what she just said. No, actually, David's my friend. He's right out there. He's doing very funny things too, very good sounds. But bird sounds, I remember sitting at a table listening to a sparrow outside, and it just resonated. Like, or a cricket. And so I thought, well, while my brother goes to college, maybe I'll make noises. And actually, early on, I started trying to do impressions and sounds, and I thought, you know what, that's what I like doing. It's fun, and there's a business out there somewhere that, you know, wants you to make noises, and that's silly. Except for in school, that was office. Do that cricket one more time. Office. I'm going. I think it's part of, you know, being obnoxious and bothering people. That's all part of the business. Your turn. I know he was just as bad, if not worse, than me.
Office.
Yes, office.
Oftentimes, I would get kicked out of class a lot for impersonating the teacher. And one time, the teacher walked out of the class, and we had two doors. One came in that door, and then at the back of the class, there was another door. So he went out the first door near his desk, and I took the opportunity to impersonate him. So I was going, I had everybody laughing and laughing and laughing, and then all of a sudden the laughter stopped, and I kept on going, and I looked around, and there was Mr. Thrasher, and that was his real name, Thrasher. I'm telling you the truth. So he said, Mr. Cullen, sit down. Then he walked to the front of the class, went out, came back, and I did it again. But this time, he was gone for a little while. He had gone to get the principal. And so I am now have the classroom's attention, and I'm still doing Mr. Thrasher. And all of a sudden, there's that quiet again. And in the window of the door in the front was the principal and Mr. Thrasher. And they're looking in, and everybody shuts up again. I said, and I looked over and, whoa, boy! Yeah, boy! And they walked in, and the principal said, continue. Continue. Yeah, so I did. The kids started laughing again, and I said, wow, I gotta put this stuff together. This might work. That was the office story.
So you're basically saying that Mr. Thrasher was your inspiration for Optimus Prime, and your principal was Mafia Hitman?
Is that kind of like saying an elastic band is compared to a rocket? I don't know. Chris, Frank and I, have a very similar background. That's why we became such great friends over the many years. And he would floor me. He would do sounds, and I said, I can't do that. But I would come up, I would do something just on the spur of a second, and he would just get cracked up. Well, that was a great inspiration.
May I
Go ahead.
add one request?
Yes.
A semi-truck in Idle.
I don't know if I can do that anymore, Frank.
Imagine yourself, first of all, sitting in a session, a very serious session, trying to do your lines, and you hear this.
Well, that brings us to another really good question. What was the first job as a voice actor that you ever had, and what do you really remember of it?
First job as a voice actor. Okay. I was working in a summer stock theater, and as a grip and apprentice making sets, watching old sets and painting new sets. And they had a malfunction with a recording when they needed a baby to cry off set, off the stage. And they were panicking because it was very essential to the plot of the story, because it kicked off, I guess, several important things to happen. So I went to the backstage manager and I said, I think I can do a voice, I can do a baby sound. And he said, can you? He said, well, he's coming up like in 5 seconds. So I said, he does. So I put my but it worked. They bought it. I ended up doing it for the next week because it was a 7-day production.
What about you, Frank?
Well, I think the first actual voiceover job I did was Dr. Dolittle, the film. And Rex Harrison was supposed to talk to the animals. And I don't even know how they got me. You know, may have been through a comedy club doing noises and stuff, but Rex Harrison was supposed to talk to the animals, so I'd watch the picture. It's called ADR, for those most of you know, because I know you're all very hip. And I'd be doing ADR, so you go in and you look at the screen, and then Rex Harrison would give. And then I would fill it in because what he was doing was talking to a dog, so he'd be going. And then he'd be talking. I don't know if he really talked to a dog, but he did talk to a horse, and he'd go. I never choked, but I did.
Almost a hairball on my neck.
This is a choking dog, actually. That's the classy material that I began my career with. While Mr. Cullen was working on Broadway, I was...
I don't know how we ever got any work done in the studio. This man could make me laugh at the drop of anything. I swear. One day, I don't know, I was sitting right next to him and I was about ready to do a line, and he was starting to do something with his leg. He started to press a button. Frank would use. I get up to speak and do my. I'm getting ready for my page. I turn around his leg and he went.
But you can see Peter and I amuse ourselves a lot, much to the disappointment of the directors. And at some point, you know, we'll be just so into it, and they'll go, stop. We have 30 minutes left. You two, stop. Right? Sometimes they record it by ourselves just so they can yell at us, right?
Well, we had one director that used to come out of the director's booth at the end of the production with big bruised bump on his forehead. Tell that story.
Well, Peter had our friend. We had a director that we worked with on. Let's see. That particular show was that Muppet Babies?
Could be.
Muppet Babies. But we worked with a director who was a very funny, very talented, very nice young man by the name of Hank Soroyan.
Hank Soroyan, one of the great directors that we loved working with him.
And
loved him.
he had a great sense of humor, but Peter had his number. I didn't have his number.
Oh,
Peter had his number, and Peter would just go, oh, come on, stop it, Peter, stop it. And he would say something very funny and funny. So finally he got poor Hank to the point where, I mean, literally, he'd just go like that, and Hank was gone. So Hank would see things fly, and then all of a sudden he'd go from laughing wildly to taking his head, and we'd hear this thump, because he laughed so hard, he thumped and he hit the director's table. You're so... I love... Very, very bad. So Peter would get him to thump his head, but that was Hank Soroyan.
Hank Soroyan, the great Hank Soroyan. Actually, a grandson of William Soroyan, for all you English majors out there. Great author, American. Hello? Hello? Oh. Frank, is that you? I didn't quite get that. Was that your what? Okay, I think I understood that.
This is an old phone.
Rotary phone.
This is really old.
I mean, you can see that in a 1960s sitcom when they go to the dialing tone. You know, though. You.
Rotary.
I'm young, huh? Okay. Long time ago.
I'm sorry, you had a question for me?
Well, yeah, a lot of your fans wanted to know when you decided that this voice acting gig was going to be a career for you.
Actually, when I kind of coerced and tricked 3 of my buddies from Colorado, I'm from Denver, Colorado. One! Yay! Usually it's 2, it's my parents. But I got these guys to go to California because I knew that's where the girls were, the beach was, and Hollywood was. So I mean, I already had my visions going that way. So I got into college, did some plays, and started doing commercials. And then I started working on stand-up comedy. Peter kind of did the same, and he does very, very funny stuff. So I can be a real good-looking hero. He's a funny guy. So I got stand-up, and then during the stand-up, I did these dog and cat routines and all this stuff. And what was the question? See, when you're older, you do things. But actually, I had my tunnel vision going. You know, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. Got those guys out there. They went back to Colorado. I stayed, got into plays, got into the business, and really have been so lucky because first commercial I did was a Bowl detergent on-camera commercial, and I was playing like a high school kid. I've aged a little, not much, mind you, just a little. But this Bowl commercial, I know it's my feelings exactly. And once I did that commercial, I started working and never stopped. You know, and then got into voices, kind of by accident when I was doing stand-up. And a gal from ABC and her fiance were watching my nightclub ad. I know it's boring, but the food is coming. So she happened to be working, casting a show called Scooby-Doo.
Woo!
She asked me to come in and read for that show, and I went in and got Freddie, and that was like years ago, 44 years ago. And we're still going, still doing shows, and I think that's probably the end of my portion of that question. I think I've gone on a little too long. Scooby-Doo? So Freddie was the blonde hair with the ascot, remember? So, yeah, exactly. Hey, Scoob, would you do it for a Scooby snack? Oh. Would you do it for 2 Scooby snacks? Oh. Would you do it for 3 Scooby snacks? Yeah, 3. So, about 12 years ago when we lost the wonderful Don Messick, and I started doing Scooby, yeah. So now it's Scooby and Freddy. Thank you.
Scooby-Doo and Kiss rocks.
Oh, did you see that?
Yes, I did.
Oh, man.
Watched that 10 times last week.
He's mentioning the Scooby-Doo and Kiss together DVD that just came out this, I guess, a week or 2 ago. And yeah, it's really, I think it's pretty good. And the music is really awesome. You know, to hear that music again. And then Scooby is like dressed like Kiss. Funny stuff. Those guys are a lot of fun to work with. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there was a cartoon show in the 80s called Transformers.
Never heard of it.
Just
Comedians everywhere.
when did you realize that it was going to going to be such the success that it is?
I had no idea that it was going to be a success because we never got any letters from fans. We never had any feedback. There was no way to really judge, you know, whether or not, which is why I had no idea, you know, why they would, you know, let me go, and then unless I could come to the conclusion that I was not really good at what I was doing. So, you know, that's why I answered that question somewhat earlier, but you keep bringing it up. But no, I had no idea. You know, we didn't know. You'll do a series of programs, and then all of a sudden your agent comes and said, okay, well, you're going out to an audition. It'll be the name of the same company as last year on a show that you've done, but that show hasn't been picked up, but they want you to audition for another character on another show. So you just went from one show to the other. You know? Frank, on the other hand, would be doing 4 or 5 shows a day. And he would do up to 6 voices in each show. And they only pay you for 4. Well, most guys couldn't do 2 voices. But Frank, you know, being the king, I mean, he could walk in and they could pay one guy to do 16 roles, you know. And that's why, you know, he's a very wealthy man.
I love you, man. Well, you know, it was truly, that period of time was I would say the animation renaissance. I mean, we had so much work in those days. It was kind of like old radio, where in New York, you do a radio show one place, then you go to RKO, you do another show, and I mean, you do like 10 different shows in a day. Well, we actually had that going. I mean, there were times, I remember my record, I think, was 12 shows in one day. Wow. But you know, they would pick you up too, so you wouldn't do, you know, you obviously, in those days, we'd do a session to take 8 hours. Now it can only be 4 hours. But the directors would pick you up so you go and do all your lines while the rest of the actors are sitting there going, why does he get to go first? So you feel bad, but then you're going, that's okay, I got my own parking spot. But it was a really, really, really fun time. It was a good time. So you were asking about like Peter was saying, you know, for some reason, they never gave us our fan mail, and because they told us later that we did have fan mail, but we'd never do it. So we had no idea. And
Long before the internet, folks.
Yeah.
Boy, when the internet came along, we found you guys found us, and it was like amazing. And what you've done for me, and you know, has been incredible, because I know a lot of you are pulling for me in a lot of different shows, and I again appreciate that very, very much, because you're the boss. What you want, we're going to give you. And,
What you've done is beyond words. Thank you both.
thank you. Appreciate it.
What he's done is beyond words. And that was nice.
Yeah, thank you.
So true. Warmed a lot of hearts in this world.
Both of you are.
That caused a lot of trouble. There's a nice love fest, but it's true. We appreciate it very, very much. Because you are the boss. Next question.
Thank you for calling.
Thank you.
So, especially in the world of voice acting, has the process changed for you over the years, or is it still pretty much the same?
Well, I think it's changing with the CGI and the scripts. I mean, it seemed like before we just did so many shows so fast that now the shows are taking a little more time. We used to remember seasons. We'd actually do like a season, and all the shows were at the same time.
Yeah, that's right.
And now we kind of work all year round at different shows, so there's more time to develop the scripts and more time to kind of develop the stories and characters. So I think that's kind of different, and then I think Peter can talk about the technology. I mean, it's just so awesome what they're doing now with the Transformers.
Oh, I don't know much about the the real technical end of it. I mean, you start getting into, I'm sure there are a lot of fans here that know a lot more about digital animation than I do.
Yeah.
And I'll bet you do, yeah. And well, today in the signing, there were so many wonderful things that were, presented to us to sign that were done by, individuals, and I was knocked out by it. And, artwork, it is changing, and it's changing wonderfully. There's an example right there. That's magnificent. Yeah, a lot has changed, and there's another one, yeah. Fantastic.
For those of you who are listening to us on the radio broadcast, extremely bright, beautiful colors, and they've been signed by the actors. The art is fantastic. I'm sorry, I carried away. I know Peter will usually go, Frank, it's bedtime.
We're in the car coming here today, and he leans over to me and said, Peter, he said, do you ever wake up in the middle of the night and then you see there's a big red mark on your arm, a real bump? And I looked at him and said, no. He said, neither do I.
Something to say? Well, that would go to a donut shop.
So I tried to get it back by waiting 20 minutes, and I said,
do you ever get a big bump on your, on your knee, it's big red, and then it's got a circle around it, then it got right in the middle, and it got.
once.
Yeah, you.
Next question.
Okay, so the two of you are synonymous with Transformers. Are there any other roles that you've played that are really near and dear to your heart?
Eeyore.
And you're making. And I love that. That's just wonderful. You've got to show that to everyone. I love to do, I am not that anybody cares for me. Better call Walter. There's nothing, just a call. I don't know.
Frank, how about you?
Abu.
Galvatron.
Let me take you through the transition.
Yes.
I am Megatron, leader of the Decepticons. Oh yes, you're talking G1, of course. And let's go into Megatron in Optimus Prime, or as we call it, Prime. Transformer Prime. And we transition into Galvatron. I am still Megatron. You can believe it. And if you don't, you're a Decepticon. Not. You are an Autobot, and we will find you. Yes. We will. You did put some pounds on that boy, didn't you? Boy, you took that guy right to
the top of the hill, didn't you?
I reckon that's what I had to do. You don't have much choice.
You know, Walter,
Yeah.
I'd like to tell you something, but I forgot. And I guess that's just getting old. Forgetting.
I reckon it is. Except the other morning, you asked me to make you some grits and bacon and sausage and eggs.
Well, now you're talking, mister. Let's get at it.
Well, it's lunchtime. I'm gonna make you eggs at lunchtime. What are you doing, crazy?
What's the name of that character? What's the name of that guy you used to do it?
It was Walter Penny.
Is that right?
Do you know who this is?
No, they don't know who this is.
This is Broderick Crawford.
Captain Dan Matthews, Broadway. What?
Broderick Crawford. Now, you need to go back a few years, but this is a perfect Broderick Crawford. If you can, you probably YouTube it and find Broderick Crawford because this is Broderick Crawford. Please listen and then look it up. Ready?
My name is Captain Dan Matthews, Highway Patrol. The laws of the state were made for your protection, obey them. Oh, and one more thing. Leave your blood in the blood bank and not on the highway. Oh, and one more thing. This program was brought to you by Drink It. Dan Matthews out. Take the ball over. Out.
We do a lot of impressions, but there's some of the older folks. Now he's saying, he's too young, I'm too old.
How was it? What are you doing there, Edith? How was it?
Oh, not now. Will you give me a break?
Oh, but
Here comes the meat. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, you wouldn't believe it. Last night I dreamed I was in the Miss America contest.
How could you possibly be? Edith, would you cut it out? You're driving me crazy.
How are you doing now?
I couldn't hear you.
Look at our night.
Oh, yeah.
Ironhide Dynamite.
Oh, gee, really good. I just want to kick some butt. Not now, Ironhide. You'll wait. Just be patient. I said be patient, Ironhide. Ah, gee whiz, they're leaking lubricant.
Okay, well, I shared with the audience earlier that I did experience a few car rides with you gentlemen, and my face still hurts because this is all that was going on in the back seat, two of them. And when you shared with us that you had a director that would just tell you to stop. And I do believe you never got any work done, but we've seen your body work, so we know you eventually did. But the point is, I'm trying to get to is, were there any other great experiences with other actors besides each other that you'd like to share with the audience? I don't think any of them.
Not without getting them in trouble.
There must be somebody you wouldn't mind throwing on the bus.
Next question.
Yeah, you see?
Frank's got music. Frank's got one.
I was trying to think of something
Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem. Casey Kasem was an amazing guy, and we did the Scooby from the very beginning. And actually, the true story of this, and you may have heard it before, I don't know if you have, maybe I should tell it in Spanish. But the thing about Casey was he was so serious about the things he believed in. And one was bad food, you know. So I remember there was a time, well, let me go back a little further. When we first were trying to get the parts, and we were reading together, they brought us in to read together, and I wanted to do Shaggy because it was the comedy part. It looked like a lot of fun, and, you know, Freddie was Freddie. And Casey wanted to do Freddie because it was a straight part, and he loved just, you know, acting. He loved acting. And he didn't kind of want to do the silly stuff. But he was so good at Shaggy, you know. And I was so lame at Fred. I was, you know, Fred, you're lame. Cast Frank! When we got the roles, we got the opposite ones that we wanted and that we thought we'd get. And I kept saying, man, I'm going to be Shaggy. Now you're Fred, you drive the machine, you wear an ascot for no reason, and you're going to be really lame. Okay, first job, I'm lame. But I remember one time, and this is one of those memories that you're saying about actors and stuff, but Casey went to the mat. I mean, he was such a nice guy, but he was a pro, and he'd been around a long time, in his own radio show, did the top 40s, and he was very successful, but he was so respectful of directors, other actors, the script, but he had his core values, and he totally believed that this food situation that, you know, that's Shaggy's character, he eats everything, and I remember he went to the mat when they had, it was some kind of meat thing, you know, he was so against it. And I remember him, and we were early into the show, that he fought to get that out of the script and to change a lot of the things that, I mean, you think right now, well, Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, they ate everything. Well, actually, they ate a lot, but there's a lot of stuff that they didn't eat, and that was because of Casey and his belief that there's bad things and you should eat better, even though the whole, you know, their characters were blah, blah, blah. But that was a cool thing about Casey, is I saw him go to the mat for something he believed in. So, let's just, hypothetically, what if this voice acting thing doesn't work out for you two? What other career can you two imagine having? Neurosurgery. Good backup. Wouldn't you let me operate on your brain? Simple question. Answer.
If it doesn't work out for me, I think I'll just become a writer. I've always imagined myself writing the great novel.
And be able to go out into the world like Truman Capote. Yeah. You know, and just write something that makes everybody so scared. Or else.
That is a very good Mr. Capote. Very good. Yeah, Peter would be a great writer. He should see a few emails. Okay. Peter, what do you think about that convention last night? Electing all of them? Fine. Peter, what do you think of that script the other day? You know, the time that when we attacked the thing and thing, you think that might be a really bad thing? I don't know. Yeah. The shortest emails I have ever seen. Oh my. So I'd say to you, Peter, God, I just thought the show that you did, and I mean, I gotta tell you something. I will tell you something. This is one of the coolest things that I've seen Peter do, and it's so hard because he's a humble guy. But he invited me, and I was there when he had his hands and feet put in the concrete. And the only voice actor, and so well deserved. But the speech that you wrote, and the words that you said, I will envy you for the rest of my life. Perfect. He is a writer. Are we okay?
You're forgiven, kid. And I'm not feeling perhaps too confident about some things in my life. I do remember faces in the crowd, and it's you. And I just have to say they love me, and I love you back.
I cannot top that. That is perfect and eloquent and absolutely true. You know, for me too, Peter's kind of brought me along. And he said, Frank, you know, he's told me about some of the conventions that he's done and the towns that he's met, and told me stories. And he said, you know, and I said, well, you know, that's you, Peter, because that's who you are. You know, you're open and your heart is as big as a building, and it is true. And that's Peter. And I said, so people love you, you know. And he said, well, yeah. He said, but the fans, you need to come out and meet. I said, well, yeah, but your album was crying, and I didn't want to see me. He said, crying. I wasn't doing that on purpose, I swear. But it was true.
Hail Galvatron!
Thank you. But Peter really did convince me, you know, that you were there, and he said you just need to meet the people and you'll understand what I'm talking about. And this is the second time I've met a group of you, and it is 10 times what I thought. And Peter's right, and so thank you.
As you get older, you know, you grew up watching a show and experiencing the characters you see on TV. You're like, oh, it's so awesome, I want to be them, or I want to meet them. And sometimes you grow older, and sometimes you learn what people truly are, and you're like, oh my God, you like that. I can honestly say it is okay to meet your heroes. You two gentlemen are amazing. I think everybody here agrees with that statement. Since, well, Peter, you accomplished the impossible, bringing Frank here.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Took a lot of work. I'm glad. You know, but he did steal my steak dinner.
So,
Friends,
yeah, wheelie. Can we do a wheelie real quick?
look behind.
No, okay, no wheelie. We're fast. The fans are always right, so we said no. Just, you know, we are huge fans of yours. Any last words you'd like to share with us before you go steal someone's steak?
Well, you know, everything that we said, without getting too mushy and crazy about it, I mean, what Peter said, he said it so eloquently, and I just want to say again that you people are what we do it for. Hasbro listens to you. Paramount listens to you. The studios, the writers, they want to do what you want, and we want to perform for you. So don't forget that. You are the boss, and I appreciate you giving me... All right. Who's in here from Ghost Story? So don't forget, you're the boss, and I appreciate so much you giving me a job. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, obviously this is
an unprecedented experience to have the two of these gentlemen here with us. So one last big round of applause for Mr. Frank.